911, what's the address of the emergency?
Ma'am, can I get an officer out here? It's a lady laying in the pool.
Is she awake?
No, ma'am. She's at the bottom of the pool.
You don't want to jump in and try and get her out?
Well, ma'am, she's dead.
Are you with the patient now?
Ma'am, she got some kids. I don't know where the kids are. I don't know nothing.
Okay, I just need you to stay right there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I'm in Golden Eagle.
Golden Eagle is a pretty upscale, prestigious neighborhood in Tallahassee, Florida. And a body being found in a pool, that's not something that we typically encounter.
The Tallahassee Fire Department responded, but she was pronounced deceased almost upon arrival at the hospital.
The 911 caller is Gerald Gardner, a maintenance man who works at the home. He tells investigators that the woman in the pool is 38-year-old Samira Frasch, a former model, married to a successful doctor, Adam Frasch. The couple has 2 young daughters, ages 10 months and 2.
Adam and the children were not at the house.
So this case kind of took on 2 prongs immediately. We have to locate them, and we had to investigate a drowning. After you walk through the residence, you can enter the pool area, and the pool had a ledge, and there was a hose coiled up and then kind of draped over the ledge.
You see a woman's flip-flop is laying underneath a hose. You find the other flip-flop just a couple feet away. It just looks completely staged. And it seemed like there was foul play.
Samira was definitely a unique person. The minute you saw her, you were like, wow, where did this beautiful woman come from?
Originally from Madagascar, Samira Motasafi grew up in a simple household of modest means. At age 18, she moved to Paris, where she hoped to help support her family through a modeling career. There she fell for Adam Frasch, a podiatrist who was visiting France.
Adam's a really charismatic guy. He would just tell the most incredible stories about his life.
3 years after they met, Samira married Adam and later followed him to his hometown of Tallahassee. Investigators begin questioning potential suspects,
What shoe of hers in the pool?
including the man who found Samira in the pool.
And then I looked again, there was Samira laying right there, and then I got scared from there. When I noticed it was her, I got scared and took off. And I went and called the cops.
Gerald Gardner's 911 call is extremely suspicious. Dispatcher asked, will you get in the pool and get her? No, nope, not doing that. Gerald, he actually explains, he's like, you're not putting my DNA on her and making me a suspect in this case.
Because I was scared, I didn't know what was going to happen.
You can tell a lot by a person's voice. And in that demeanor and how Gerald explained the 911 call, he was very credible. We were able to rule Gerald out as a prime suspect in the case.
As time went on, you could tell that Adam and Samira were starting to fight a little bit more. And these weren't quiet battles. These were yelling and screaming matches.
The marriage deteriorated. And at the time of Samira's death, she and Adam were in the midst of a contentious divorce.
She was awarded custody of the children. He's kicked out of the marital home.
And there was a court order in place. Adam legally was not allowed to possess or have custody of those children. We were able to locate Adam Frasch and his 2 young daughters at a residence he owns in Panama City, Florida. At that point, nobody asked Adam a question. And he goes, is this about my wife? Is she dead? That was extremely suspicious. We knew she was dead, but how did he know? We arrested Adam on interference with child custody.
A couple of investigators sat down with him. He was willing to talk.
The first question is obvious. How did Adam already know about his wife's death?
And when my friend called me Kendall and told me, that's how I kind of knew.
Adam tells us that I heard from my friend Kendall that there was a death investigation at my house.
Adam also says he and Samira were together the night before she died.
In the hopes of trying to work things out?
Yes, sir. It was actually going pretty good.
Okay, well, so what happened when y'all get to the house?
She started drinking champagne.
Did she drink anything that night?
No.
How much do you think she had to drink?
I would say close to a couple bottles of champagne.
They made love, She's drunk, and then they go to bed.
Adam also seems to know specific details about his wife's death.
I'm worried that she may have tripped on the water hose that was out there or something.
Listening to Adam's interview, he tells you, I hope she didn't trip over the hose. How did you know that this looked like somebody tripped and fell into the pool? Why would you even bring that up?
Something wasn't adding up.
4 days after he's arrested for violating a child custody order by taking the girls to Panama City, Adam posts bond and is released from jail. Then, 3 weeks after Samira's death, the medical examiner completes her report.
The autopsy confirmed what we believed. This was a homicide. Then we get to the toxicology section.
For Newland, one detail is especially striking.
There's no alcohol in her system. You flash back real quick and you go, wait a minute. Adam said something different.
How much do you think she had to drink?
Close to a couple bottles of champagne.
Another thing we learned from the medical examiner's report is that under Samira's fingernails was Adam's DNA.
Detectives had spotted a scratch under Adam's eye that he blamed on his 10-month-old daughter.
Once we found that there was DNA under Samira Frasch's fingernails, it certainly seemed to add up that she had scratched him.
Put everything together, Adam is the prime suspect. We felt we had the right person.
There's one crucial question the autopsy can't answer.
Those findings did not include a time of death. That's because the temperature of the pool, it was quite cold, interfered with the decomposition of the body in such a way that the experts were not able to determine how long it had been since she'd been murdered.
The uncertain time of death is a problem for investigators, especially since a neighbor claims he saw someone resembling Samira around 10:30 on the morning of the murder.
Adam Frasch was exiting the neighborhood at 8 a.m. sharp. So if we had had the time of death established as pre-8 a.m., then we could have definitively proved that the neighbor was incorrect.
We saw a lady.
It wasn't until a neighbor came up and said, I think I saw somebody at that house, that the case took another turn. Maybe the neighbor had the day wrong.
That's something that's very common in criminal cases and in life, that people misremember days, they are mistaken. They don't mean anything wrong by it.
After reviewing all the evidence, the state's attorney's office believes it has enough to move forward with the case. Nearly 9 months after Samira Frasch was found dead in her pool, police arrest her husband for murder. 2 months after Adam's arrest, detectives get a huge break, courtesy of Adam himself.
Adam is incarcerated. He starts having a conversation with another inmate, Dale Folsom.
Dale is a 40-time convicted felon. He was in and out of jail all the time and would frequently want to give up information to try to help himself.
I interviewed Dale Folsom. He tells us this whole story. Adam tells Dale in detail what occurred that night. He talks about the fight that occurred between he and Samira. He talks about knocking Samira out, panicking, and throwing her in the pool.
Nearly 3 years after Samira Frasch's body was found in her pool, her husband, Adam Frasch, stands trial for her murder.
Everybody be seated, please.
The prosecution calls jailhouse informant Dale Folsom to the stand.
Have a seat.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony or crime of dishonesty?
Yes, ma'am, about 40 times.
40 times? If you have a witness like Folsom, you have no choice but to acknowledge that the witness is not inherently credible. That doesn't mean they're incapable of giving valuable information.
Your reward for this story was you got out of jail. Isn't that true?
I don't feel like it was a reward. I just told what any citizen should have done.
Well, you got out of jail. All right.
The defense attacks Dale Folsom's credibility and pounces on the other major vulnerability in the state's case, the uncertain time of death. The defense calls a key witness who describes what he saw the morning Samira Frasch was murdered.
When you walked by between 10:25 and 10:45, did you see anybody in the driveway of that house?
We did.
And who did you see, or what did you observe?
I saw a woman, African American, tall, dark hair, thin.
Matt Christensen just was unshakable that he had seen this person that looked like Samira Frasch. He placed Samira Frasch as potentially being alive, while Adam Frasch would have been en route or in Panama City.
I'm 100% sure that I saw a woman in front of that house during that time frame.
Mr. Christensen?
During cross-examination, the prosecution challenges the details of the neighbor's story.
And the person that you saw, you don't know if that was Mrs. Frasch or not?
I do not.
We genuinely believe that Mr. Christensen wasn't doing anything nefarious, that he just misremembered, that he was misremembering maybe a different date.
Adam himself does not take the stand, and the defense rests its case. After 4 days of testimony, the jury retires to decide Adam Frasch's fate. After just 90 minutes, the jury is back with a verdict.
Ready to be seated, please?
My heart dropped to my stomach, like, what does this mean? I've had misdemeanor DUI trials that had longer deliberations than this case.
State of Florida versus Adam Frasch. We, the jury, find as follows. As the indictment, the defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
It was awesome when I heard the words guilty. It was just great to see justice done for Samira after so many years.
Adam Frasch is sentenced to life without parole for his crime.